G'day all, I'm Graham Sanders and I live at Townsville, North Queensland. That's where latitude 19 crosses the east coast of Australia. I'm doing a management series on the local species Tetragonula Hocking's Eye. Well, it's the 1st of February 2017 and the wet season has arrived early January, so we've got a full month on. So, what do we do in terms of management? Well, if you've done everything you humanly possibly can during the hot, dry period, this is the time of the year where these hives explode with activity. And as you can see here, it's on. There's just heaps of bees going in and out. But with the explosion of moisture, which has brought on all the flowers and all the pollen, brings on an explosion of pests. And we're looking at small hive beetle, which is a small beetle about the size of the bee, oval in shape, a bit flat. You're looking at phorid flies, little tiny flies that dart around, and you're looking at cyphrid flies. These things actually look like wasps, but you can tell them they have a Y antenna on their head. Look up photos if you're unsure. So, what are we looking for with our hives this month? Well, absolutely nothing really. If we've done the work, we should see these hives just explode in numbers and you should get activity like you're seeing here. Just bloody heaps of bees. So, what are we looking for? Well, as you can see here, lots of rubbish going out, including hatched cells that have been scrunched up. You can see those brown things being carried out. Lots of pollen going in, and that's very important, because you don't want to be now, this time of the year, opening these things up. Why not? Because if you open them up because you're curious to have a look, you're going to break the seal of the hive, send out a heap of scents, and it's going to attract the pests. And you don't want to attract the pests. This is the time of the year where they're full on now, looking for anything to infect. But you need to know the signs that your hive's healthy. Activity is one. As you can see here, heaps of bees buzzing and doing their own thing. Pollen going in is very important. If a hive gets infected, the pollen cells go to mush before the brood cells. So if the pollen cells go to mush, the bees won't be taking in any more pollen because the whole pollen storage area has gone to pot. So pollen going is your first good sign. Second good sign, there should be a ring of confidence of bees around. You should better look into the hive and just see bees, 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 all guarding and carrying on. And that, Jesus, can't you see them there? Heaps and heaps of little buggers. So that's all good. Okay, the third thing is a buzzing sound from the entrance. I've always said native bees don't regulate the temperature of the hive with airflow like honeybees, but they do ventilate the hive. They maintain humidity and they maintain oxygen stroke CO2 levels at the right level or the hive dies. So you should get a buzzing sound. Let's give this a go and see if I can pick it up for you. The microphone's somewhere about there, so I'll just move it around. I hope you picked that up. I'll have to check later on that, of course. So, it's sit back and enjoy. What's been happening with my other hives? Let's have a look. I'm sure you recognise this baby hidden next to another hive, the styrofoam hive. That I used about a month ago in a swarm capture just to strengthen it. It was going okay, but I wanted more numbers. But has this hive worked? And more importantly, has this hive survived the really hot spell where we've had weeks of temperatures near 40 C, minimums 28 C? This thing's been hot as buggery. You'd think at a styrofoam box, if the design is wrong, they'd be dead meat. Well, here's the good news. There's that ring of confidence of bees. Look at them all. This hive is now on the growth stage. And you can see here, there's just heaps of bees doing their own buzzy bee thing. They're going good. So I am so surprised that this hive has actually been a success. It actually takes the temperature fine. So with all that, I decided to build another hive, and there it is there. And I'm releasing a video in 2 weeks on what's this hive. It's my own design. So in 2 weeks time there'll be a video on how to make this hive. But this hive is going so strong now, I'm going to transfer it to this hive. You may be asking, why the hell is he transferring it if it's such a successful hive? Well, that's simple enough. I'm getting a species called Tetragonula sapiens from further north, quite rare down here. I want my best hive for the best chance of its survival. There'll be a video series on that, and my Tetragonula sapiens are going in here. So I'll be transferring the bees out of this hive into this hive to free up the real good hive that I want for my sapiens. Now, anything else going on? You may remember this hive. This hive, if you followed my swarm capture series, I captured a swarm in this hive, I think mid-December. Well, the numbers in this hive should have dropped down to the lowest about now or a few weeks ago, and if the swarm was captured, I should be seeing signs that this hive is building in numbers. Let's see if I can get this camera positioned right. Well, would you believe the hive is still very, very much alive, as you can see there. Numbers are down, but that's to be expected because it's had 2 months with no brood replacing the workers that were in there. So this is about as low as the numbers get for this hive. But you will see the hive is very much alive. And in fact, little buzzy bees are still doing what little buzzy bees do. Going out. And yes, you can see there with that bee coming out, that is brood hatching. So this hive has taken, I've got signs now that there's brood in there hatching. You saw a worker come out with a brood cell. This hive will only grow from strength to strength now. So, my swarm capture hive, total success. A totally empty box, I managed to capture it. Anything else to report? Well, one other thing to close off. You haven't seen this before, but I mentioned I was getting a sapiens hive. The guy wanted in swap a Tetragonula Hocking's eye hive. So I did a brood lift a month and a half ago, made up a very simple box and put what called the brood lift method into that box to get the bees established. Now this is only a month and a half old. It's a bit like a swarm capture in a way. You can see I've got definite guard bees there, but there are foraging bees going around. This hive is just knocked up quickly out of some wood. Not very flash, but it's going to be mailed to this guy in Cairns. So all I've got to do now is wait till I see signs that this hive has taken and I've got a queen. I can either wait till I see brood coming out, which would be another half a month, 2 to 3 weeks, or look for signs of pollen going in. Pollen going in means that they've got young, or they need pollen for young, and guess what? I have seen pollen going in. I saw pollen just before I set the camera up, but there's one going in now with pollen. So that's a healthy sign it's got brood. But I will have a look when this guy's ready to take this hive and mail it to him. So that's how I transfer bees round the place when people want them out of town. I just knock up a very simple box, do the brood lift method, get the colony established, wait for a month and a half to 2 months till the colony's, I know, has got a queen and active. Then I send this box off and the person can look after it. So that's my report for the month. You can guess what I'm going to say. 1st of March, we'll have another look. And I should have my Sapiens hive by then.